Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk on National Public Radio with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and we're here to try to answer your questions about cars,
right that time,
car
boy.
repair, and France.
France. Now, here's an interesting little snippet. Here's a little snippet.
I'm ready.
Sheila Schultz sent us this.
From France?
Where is she? Where are you from, Sheila? St. Louis. St. Louis. New York. Newsday reported in April that a 46-year-old Worcester, Massachusetts man inexplicably began speaking with a French accent immediately after he was involved in an automobile accident last year.
It must have dislodged.
Wait a minute, there's more. Dr. Mahis Muniz told the annual meeting of the American Academy of Neurology that about 24 cases
of spontaneous French occur every year. Come on, snap out of it, will you? You're on National Public Radio. Get a hold of yourself, boy.
It's too good. I can't see anymore.
Come on, you can do it. Come on, you started it. You finish it.
24 cases of foreign accent syndrome. I love it. I can't see. Foreign accent syndrome have been reported in this century, caused by a change in the brain circuit involved with motor control that affects the vocal cords. You have foreign accent syndrome ever since you went to France. Can you believe the guy gets hit by a car and all of a sudden he starts to talk like this?
What
does he do? Jump out of the car and say, "You stupid fool, why did you bump like that?" Foreign accent syndrome.
Great stuff, huh?
Sheila, thank you. That was the best laugh I've had all week.
But the incident I'm thinking of happened many years ago, and it features our old pal, Dr. Joseph DeFranza.
Dr. DeFranza, my buddy.
Now, Dr. DeFranza was a medical researcher who used to work at the University of Massachusetts Medical Center. I don't know if he still does. I'm sure his career went rapidly downhill since we mentioned him on our show, but we actually met him some years ago.
That's right. After the little incident you're about to hear, we started including Dr. DeFranza in our credits every week as our automotive medical researcher. We had no idea who this guy was. If he was a nice guy or a stiff like my brother, what do we know?
And our producer, the estimable Dougie Berman, said to us one day, "Hey, who knows who this guy is? He may show up one day and sue you guys for defamation of character." So at Dougie's behest, we replaced Dr. DeFranza in the credits with our current automotive medical researcher, Dr. Denton Fender.
Sure enough, a couple of months later, we get this package in the mail from who? Dr. DeFranza.
Uh-oh.
Here's the lawsuit, we figure, right? Inside is his latest research and a note saying, "Hey, why don't you guys mention me at the end of your show anymore?"
Well, anyway, on this particular day in question, we were discussing the results of some of Dr. DeFranza's latest research, and here's what happened. Pop in the tape, will you?
Does it go in this way or this way? Where does it go in?
How long you been doing this, man? I thought you were a professional.
I'm not a professional.
Oh, push play anyway.
You want to do that?
You can do that.
More power to you.
We have time for a few more calls.
Wait a minute. I want to talk about this little note that John gave me here,
Oh, okay.
which has to do with this is from Massachusetts, actually, Dr. Joseph DeFranza, who's from the University of Massachusetts Medical Center in Worcester. Did a study showing that smokers have 50% more automobile accidents and receive 46% more traffic tickets than non-smokers.
Oh, I know that's obvious. This guy had to be a PhD to figure that out?
This guy, he's either a PhD or an MD.
Well, it's even worse.
Doctor.
Well,
He speculates on what the answer.
I know exactly the answer.
Go ahead. What do you think?
Well, if you were a smoker, you'd know because
I'm not. I mean, I'm pure. I can breathe better. I can smell flowers.
I know when I
eat more.
When I
I'm fatter.
when I used to smoke,
and I'm dying for a cigarette.
when I used to smoke, cause of great concern
Last week.
was dropping a cigarette down between your legs while you were driving.
Especially when you park next to a bus. And everyone's looking out the window, wondering what the hell you're doing.
No, worse than that is driving along at 60 miles an hour. And no, it's all right if you drop the whole cigarette. You got to short it fine ahead. But when the end of the cigarette should fall
between
off
your legs.
and fall down between your legs at 60, you're done for. And you don't think they would cause you to speed. Anyway, that's the end of the show for tonight. I can't go on. So Dr. DeFranza had to figure that out. What's his reason?
Dr. DeFranza says that smokers.
Okay. I got it here. 7 years ago. Oh, no, that's wrong. Dr. DeFranza says, I'm sorry.
Dr. DeFranza says
I'm sorry for injecting such levity into an otherwise serious show.
smokers are less concerned about their health and are more likely to be reckless drivers. That's what Dr. DeFranza
He's nuts. Can we take a call?
Hello, you're on contact.
I'm calling from Kansas.
Kansas! Is this Dorothy? I remember losing it that day. I remember we were in this very studio. I was doubled over on this table, and I couldn't stop, man.
And I was right next to you. And every time I looked at you,
well, because
and
I was
stopped
remembering.
laughing, you started laughing, and then I started laughing.
I was remembering the day that actually happened to me. I was sitting in my 74 Chevy Caprice Classic convertible, smoking a cigarette, and the damn thing fell between my legs, and I look up, and everyone on the bus is looking at me.
Great source of embarrassment. So what's he doing down
What's he
there?
doing down there? All right, give me that box. Where's that call from the guy? Ah, here it is. Do you remember this one?
Oh, yeah. Now, this guy, his name is Sasha. Anyway, he's among a select group of people who call us and ask what can only be called wacko car questions.
All right, I mean, this is not how often should I change the oil?
No.
Why does my car make this noise? These questions are more, shall we say, off the beaten path.
Oh, here. Listen to this.
1-800-332-9287. Hello, you're on Parrot Talk.
My name is Sasha. I'm calling you from Quincy, Massachusetts.
Sash, Quince, I know where that is.
You?
It's right up the road a piece.
Oh, you guys are in Cambridge, right?
Now, Sash
Yes, we
is
are.
S-A-S-C-H.
No, S-A-S-H-A.
Oh,
Sasha.
Sasha. Oh, you
Oh, I
did
thought
say
you said
that.
Sash.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right, we got all that straightened out. What's up?
Okay, well, my girlfriend has a Dodge Aries 1983.
Notice it's always somebody else's car. Whenever it's a Dodge Aries, it's all my girlfriend, my brother-in-law. It's always somebody else that has a Dodge Aries. Nobody wants to admit.
Okay.
All right, it's your girlfriend. We'll accept that.
We both use the car a lot, and it's got 135,000 miles on it.
Mm.
I was, actually, my girlfriend and I were driving up to Maine, and the car has a small radiator problem because it just leaks a little, and every couple of weeks we had to fill it up again. So we went up to Maine that one time, and the car's radiator was leaking really bad by the time I got up there. And my girlfriend's sister's boyfriend said that his father had a garage, and one time this guy came in with a leaky radiator, and he said, well, look, what can you do about it? And the guy said, well, besides putting in a new radiator, I can suggest this.
Black pepper.
Yeah, black pepper and eggs.
Eggs!
He said,
Eggs.
These are the whole eggs or just the whites?
No, the whole egg, they poach right there in the radiator.
yeah, and he said it worked all the way to the West Coast and back without springing a leak. So I guess upon hearing this, my girlfriend and I mean, we don't really know that much about cars. And we said, well, why not?
But you hightailed it right over to the supermarket.
Well, my girlfriend's sister had some eggs in the house, so
Yeah.
she just passed them through the window, and the guy just cracked them open and put them right in the radiator. and then he put some pepper inside. And
No salt. No salt.
No salt.
We were
Bad
hoping
for your
some
blood
bacon,
pressure.
But he didn't oblige.
Did it work?
How many eggs?
It worked. 2 eggs.
2 eggs. So I guess if you had an 8-cylinder, you'd use 4 eggs.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Or half a dozen.
Half an egg per cylinder.
Yeah,
let me write this down. Half an egg per cylinder. Okay.
Now, did he let me get this right. Did he scramble the eggs first, or were they just cracked and put in like you would make poached eggs?
No, he didn't even scramble them.
Did he crack them, or did he put the shell and all in? I suppose the whole egg, that would stop it from leaking. So Sasha, don't keep us in suspense. Did it work or didn't it?
Well, he put him in, and it worked for a while. I mean, we drove all the way from Portland, Maine to Back Bay, Boston.
Yeah.
And it worked fine. And then after that, it worked fine for at least a month before I had to put in some more eggs.
Did you get, like, feathers coming out of the tailpipe or anything?
No, it was fine. It wasn't leaking at all because I was using it every day and I was checking the levels. So it was working fine, but I didn't put any more pepper because it sort of smelled bad when I put it in.
Yeah.
I mean, the egg smelled real good. It made me hungry.
And they say eggs are bad for your clogged arteries.
You have a new eggs Prestone. You have a new dish.
Better than eggs Benedict.
Better than eggs Prestone.
Eggs Prestone.
So now, all told now, how many eggs have you put in this thing?
Well, at the last point that it worked, we had about maybe 8 eggs in there.
Yeah. And then what happened?
What happened?
Disaster?
Well, one day during the summer, I was driving along, and it was a really hot day, and I guess I didn't know it, but the temperature gauge wasn't working in the car.
Just as well, maybe.
The car was overheating, and the water was leaking out, and I didn't know it. And the car just started smoking, and I pulled over into a parking lot, and it just died there.
Yeah.
And
that's the end of that car.
Yeah, well, the thing is, my friend, he told me he can get me a good used radiator, real cheap. So I'm wondering if it's worth it to put it in.
Well, does the engine still run, or is the engine dead?
It wouldn't start.
It wouldn't start. I would guess that the engine is cooked.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say.
Along with the eggs.
Yeah, I would say the engine's cooked. I mean, the home. I've never heard of this particular home remedy, although I have heard of black pepper working. But personally, I've never tried it. But I have heard that it worked. The eggs.
Were these free-range eggs?
the eggs are certainly a new twist.
They are. Boy, that's a new one on me.
A new twist, but it runs into money. What does a dozen eggs go for now? It's got to be at least $1.25, right, for a dozen eggs?
Yeah, but look at the two-thirds of a dozen has lasted them 6 months here.
Yeah, and I guess at some point the hole gets so big that you really have to put hard-boiled eggs in there to plug it up. So it isn't the fault of the eggs. Maybe the remedy is good for small leaks. And it's certainly. I'm going to try one of my brother's engines as soon as we leave the studio.
Oh, that's the other thing. I had my friend try it too, and he had a small leak, and it worked for him.
It really did, huh?
Boy.
He has a.
You opened a whole new world of auto repair for us.
And cooking too.
Cooking eggs Prestone.
Sasha, it has been a pleasure. I can't tell you what a pleasure it has been talking to you and hearing this story. This is certainly among the best.
Okay.
And I would certainly shop not only for a new radiator but for a new engine, and maybe for $500 you can get this thing back on the road again.